I would never harm none of our black women. Not the righteous ones, not the dirty, not the... I wouldn't harm none of them.
I asked to, feel me, to go like separate ways. I'm like, man, I'm trying to go do some shit I got on the table and whoop, whoop. I can add you in on it or we could just, I probably after talking a few times, we just, you feel me, it wasn't nothing more, nothing less than, all right, bet. You can go do whatever you're trying to do.
Stunna comes around the corner and he cocks and points it at me and tell me to get the back and told her, like, I told you not to go with that girl without me.
Stunna 4 Vegas and DaBaby used to be a powerhouse duo, shaking up the rap game like nothing we'd seen before. But now, the story's flipped. We're diving into how their unstoppable rise spiraled into pure chaos, and the wild story behind the time Stunna allegedly pulled a gun on one of DaBaby's own artists. Stunna 4 Vegas came straight out of Salisbury, North Carolina, a small city where making it big felt like a dream. Growing up without his dad in the picture, Stunna looked for a way out through sports, hoping basketball or football could change his life. His cousin Javon Hargrave actually did make it to the NFL as a defensive tackle for the Minnesota Vikings, but Stunna soon realized his path wasn't on the field, it was behind the mic. So he switched his focus and went all in on music. He started performing at tiny venues and hole-in-the-wall clubs across North Carolina, grinding non-stop and hustling for every single dollar. Some nights he made just $300, maybe a band or two if the crowd was lit. But the hunger never stopped. He wasn't famous outside his state yet, but locals were already whispering his name with respect. Then came the moment that flipped his whole life around.
It's something you supposed to do on the front end. You know what I'm saying? That's something you're supposed to do on the front.
He made it public.
Yeah. I mean, what made what public? The fact that
like that, he wasn't with you no more.
Yeah. He ain't supposed to let niggas play like that.
A local DJ posted about Stunna online, and guess who saw it? DaBaby. At that point, DaBaby had already been pushing music hard since 2015, slowly carving his name into the industry. By 2018, he was getting serious attention, not a superstar yet, but clearly on his way up. When he saw that DJ post, he gave it a like, and that single move connected him with Stunna. The two linked up right after, and their chemistry was instant. DaBaby saw something in Stunna that most people hadn't noticed yet: raw talent and pure energy. The next day, they locked in at the studio, and boom, out came their track, Animal. That record went crazy, pulling in massive streams and turning heads across the scene. Suddenly, everyone wanted to know who Stunna 4 Vegas was. DaBaby started bringing him out on stage during his own shows, letting him rock the mic in front of packed crowds. The energy between them was electric. Within just a few months of teaming up with DaBaby, Stunna's life completely flipped. He went from counting a few $100 a night to racking up thousands every time he hit the stage. DaBaby put real trust in him, and so much that when he dropped his Blank Blank mixtape in 2018, Stunna was the only feature on it.
I tell that nigga right now, like, you know, I'm happy for him, because whatever you doing now, that's what you want to be doing. That's what you'd rather be doing. I'm that type of nigga.
That move showed just how much faith DaBaby had in his new protege, and it looked like nothing could stop them. Then came a massive move that changed everything. Jay-Z's Rock Nation stepped in to handle the distribution for Blank Blank, and that gave DaBaby's career a major push into the big leagues. By 2019, he had locked in a 7-figure deal with Interscope Records. Serious money, but DaBaby didn't just secure the bag for himself. He made sure his right-hand man, Stunna 4 Vegas, got his shine too. When DaBaby signed that huge contract, he made it clear he wanted Stunna to level up right beside him. Stunna was already under DaBaby's own label, Billion Dollar Baby Entertainment, but DaBaby's influence helped him land his own deal directly with Interscope. Just like that, Stunna went from the local grind to signing papers with one of the biggest labels in the game. Before that major label deal even hit, Stunna had already been stacking checks. He once said he pulled in close to $200,000 just off features and shows, before DaBaby officially signed him. Then came their hit, Ashley, where DaBaby bragged, "I got my young Nender a rich in 6 months. Play with me, get your eshate bust." That bar said it all. Stunna was glowing up fast, and his first Interscope release was proof he was next in line for the spotlight. But fame brings pressure, and things started to get messy quick. Out of nowhere, rumors exploded online claiming Stunna got his chain snatched.
So do you think you signed a bad deal?
I got out of it. I just got them, like I said, I should have known certain that I didn't really know. that
Right.
my new lawyer told me, like, once he got down to the nitty gritty, he like let me know,
Photos started popping up across Instagram showing jewelry that looked just like his, and people began saying, Stunna got his chains took. The internet went wild with the story. Stunna wasn't having it though. He hopped online to clear the air and said the whole thing was a lie. According to him, he was in Atlanta for a show and left his chains in his car, only for the entire car to get stolen. He later explained on the Only Way Out podcast that he never even saw who took it and that the situation wasn't some street beef like people made it out to be. It was just a bad night that got blown way out of proportion. Stunna for Vegas made it clear he wasn't paying a single dollar to get those chains back. He said straight up that he wasn't stressing because he could just buy new ones whenever he wanted. But even with that confident energy, fans started to notice something. Stunna's buzz was beginning to cool off around this time, and the hype that once surrounded him was slowly fading away. Back in 2019, he was untouchable. Stunna had just secured that big label deal, dropped his first major project, and linked up with heavyweights like Offset, Lil Durk, and Lil Yachty. He and DaBaby were on fire, dropping back-to-back hits and running up views every time they hit the booth. The chemistry between them felt unstoppable. Like every song they touched turned into a viral moment. Then 2020 kicked off strong for him too. Stunna dropped his second studio album that January, landing at number 29 on the Billboard 200, a huge win for someone only a couple years into the game. And just 1 month later, he dropped Go Stupid with Polo G and NLE Choppa, a record that exploded across streaming platforms and became the biggest song of his career. But after that massive high, things started to dip again. The critics weren't showing him the same love they did in 2018 and 2019, and fans began losing some of that early excitement. Even though he was still getting features and making real money, his November 2020 album didn't even chart, a clear sign that the wave he once rode so high was starting to crash. By the time 2021 rolled around, it was like Stunna hit pause on everything. He didn't release a single track that whole year. Silence. And during that time, DaBaby's own career took a serious hit after the Rolling Loud controversy that sparked massive backlash and shut a lot of doors for him in the industry. Then in 2022, Stunna tried to spark the fire again. He dropped his fourth project, hoping to remind the world that he still had it. But what fans didn't realize back then was that this album would mark the end of an era. His final release under DaBaby's billion-dollar Baby Entertainment label. Behind the cameras, things weren't as smooth as they looked. Tension was building up fast, and some real drama was brewing, ready to explode at any moment. After DaBaby signed Stunna for Vegas, he didn't stop there. He added another artist to his roster, a rising female rapper named Kayy Kilo. DaBaby and Kayy Kilo dropped a few tracks together, and her name started buzzing quick. But right when it seemed like her career was about to take off, everything got complicated fast. When DaBaby's public drama with his ex, Danny Lee, exploded all over social media, it completely shifted the attention away from Kayy Kilo's music and her mixtape rollout. She felt robbed of her big moment, and from there, the tension at billion-dollar Baby Entertainment only got worse. Then came the scandal that had everyone talking. Rumors started flying that Kayy Kilo and Stunna for Vegas had gotten into a heated confrontation that allegedly ended with Stunna pointing a gun at her. Nobody really knew how it started, but according to Kayy Kilo's side of the story, things popped off after she smashed Stunna's girlfriend's phone, which led to the girl screaming for help. That's when Kayy Kilo claimed that Stunna walked up and pointed a gun at her. The whole situation sounded wild, and fans couldn't believe what they were hearing. After the story broke, Kayy Kilo didn't hold back online. She went on social media blasting Stunna, accusing him of running away from drama back in North Carolina and hiding out in Houston. She even said she smashed his phone too, adding even more fuel to the story. But Stunna wasn't staying quiet either. He jumped on Instagram Live to shut everything down, saying the entire story was a lie. He made it clear he would never harm a woman and claimed Kayy Kilo was just trying to chase attention after leaving DaBaby's label. According to Stunna, she was simply bitter because her rap career wasn't hitting like it used to. Still, not everyone was convinced. Some fans thought there might have been some truth to Kayy Kilo's claims, especially when she said Stunna had been laying low from his ops back in Carolina. Stunna's name carries real weight in his city. He's always repped North Carolina hard and never shied away from rapping about street life in his music. In his track Animal, he spits, this. He play both sides. They get him knocked off. He won't even be able to pick a side. We beat down your block. They like get inside. 2-2-3s and my none-near whiz slide. Those lyrics painted the kind of world Stunna came from. Gritty, dangerous, and full of real pressure that followed him even as he climbed the charts. Word around the streets is that Stunna 4 Vegas has ties with a local crew out of North Carolina called YRB, and one of his close homies from that circle, a guy named Sin, allegedly got locked up on some heavy charges. Stunna even showed love to his friend online, posting him on Instagram as a sign of loyalty and standing by his people no matter what. Then 2021 brought even more chaos. Reports started spreading that shots had been fired at one of Stunna's shows and headlines lit up like wildfire. Early rumors claimed someone tried to take him out right there during a performance, but later details revealed the gunfire actually went down at an after party, not the concert itself. It's still unclear whether Stunna was even at the scene when it happened, but the streets couldn't stop talking about it. The situation had everyone wondering if the fame was starting to bring real danger his way. At the same time, Kayy Kilo jumped back into the mix, saying Stunna had left North Carolina because he couldn't move safely back home. But Stunna clapped back with a totally different story. According to him, the move wasn't about fear, it was about love. His reason? A Houston rapper named Mona Leo. Stunna met her at a studio session in Houston, and they clicked instantly. What started as a casual link-up quickly turned into something real, and before long, Stunna decided he wanted to be closer to her, so he packed his bags and made the move to Texas. From that moment, everything about his lifestyle started shifting in a whole new direction. Before leaving North Carolina, Stunna admitted he had been struggling, dealing with pills and lean to cope with the pressure. But once he got to Houston, his mindset started changing for the better. He focused on his health, got back into working out, and even picked up basketball again. The same game he grew up loving. But the biggest change came when he started giving back to the youth, taking on a leadership role by managing an AAU basketball team. He met the kids while they were out practicing one day and decided to help them out, buying sneakers, jerseys, and even paying their tournament fees. That move showed a whole new side of Stunna, one that wanted to give back instead of just living fast. By the time 2023 rolled around, Stunna 4 Vegas was ready for a major change. He'd grown past the chaos, matured, and decided he was done with all the noise of the rap game. That's when he went straight to DaBaby and asked to be released from Billion Dollar Baby Entertainment. The moment the news hit that Stunna was no longer signed to DaBaby, the internet exploded with speculation. Social media lit up with wild takes. Some people swore he got dropped, while others claimed there was some deep fallout between the two. Everybody wanted to know what really happened behind closed doors. Then Stunna hopped on Instagram Live to set the record straight. He made it crystal clear that he was not dropped from the label, but even though he cleared that part up, he stayed mysterious about the details. Instead, he told fans he was done chasing attention, done with the constant drama, and not interested in beefing with anybody. He said he didn't care about being a rapper in the way the industry expected him to be. His energy was different now. His message came through loud and bold. He was moving on with peace, not problems. Some fans thought those words were a subtle jab at DaBaby, like he was taking shots without naming names. But Stunna later came back to clarify things. There wasn't any beef between them at all. According to him, they just naturally drifted apart. No bad vibes, no betrayal, just two artists growing in different directions. Then in 2024, DaBaby finally spoke up about the situation, giving his side of the story. He said Stunna actually reached out to him personally, and he still wished him nothing but success. DaBaby admitted he had no hate in his heart, but he did reveal he was a little frustrated with how things looked online. He mentioned that he doesn't let people talk crazy about situations involving him, hinting that the fan drama made things look worse than they really were. It sounded like DaBaby was trying to clear his name while still showing respect. Through all of it, Stunna stayed classy. He publicly thanked DaBaby for everything he had done for him, from putting him on stage to helping him land that major deal, and gave him full credit for jumpstarting his career. Still, fans couldn't shake the feeling that there was more going on behind the scenes than either of them was saying. And when an interviewer later asked Stunna if he'd ever signed a bad deal, he didn't dodge the question. He admitted he did, but he proudly explained that he got out of that situation once he brought in his own lawyer. That move showed how much he had grown. He was no longer just an artist, but a businessman learning how to take full control of his career and his freedom. Stunna for Vegas never directly said DaBaby gave him a bad deal, but it definitely seemed like he wasn't satisfied with how the money was being handled behind the scenes. Nobody can deny that DaBaby was the one who put Stunna on the map. He gave him the exposure, the connections, and the platform to blow up. But as time went on, it looked like Stunna started realizing the business side wasn't lining up the way he hoped it would. The numbers weren't adding up, and his energy around the whole situation started shifting. For a while, fans honestly thought Stunna was finished with rap completely. He'd gone quiet, stayed off the radar, and seemed like he was over the industry. But in 2024, he made a low-key comeback, signing with a smaller label called STB Entertainment and dropping a new album out of nowhere. Still, the fall off was clear. He went from pulling in millions of streams every time he dropped to struggling to even hit 6 figures on new releases. The buzz that once surrounded his name was fading fast, and his tracks weren't shaking the game like they used to. But Stunna didn't seem bothered. His focus had shifted completely. These days, it's not about fame or charts. It's about family and peace. Back in 2023, he and Monaleo welcomed their first child together, and not long after, the two officially tied the knot. Now, Stunna talks about wanting more kids and building a strong home life, trading the chaos of the industry for the calm of real love and fatherhood. Instead of chasing clout, he's chasing stability and happiness. And that's not all. Stunna's found a whole new lane that fits him perfectly. He's been managing young basketball players, mentoring them, and even mentioned he's thinking about going back to college to study sports management. He wants to really master the business side of the game and help the next generation move smart, something he clearly learned from his own time in the industry. And even though he's not pulling in the same big rap checks he once did, Stunna's always been sharp with his money. When he was making hundreds of thousands, he stayed grounded and avoided wild spending sprees. Instead of dropping big money on flashy foreign cars, he bought himself a Jeep for around $25,000. Simple, solid, and smart. He wasn't worried about flexing. He was focused on security and staying real. Fans still haven't let go of the hope that Stunna for Vegas and DaBaby might link back up one day for another banger. But for now, that reunion remains a mystery. However, in October 2025, during an interview with The Breakfast Club, Stunna revealed something that caught everyone off guard. He actually reached out to DaBaby, not to ask for help or handouts, but to take accountability for his part in how things fell apart. He said it wasn't about fixing old deals or reliving the past. It was about respect, growth, and owning his story like a man.